Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Greg here again with an unboxing of a very old kit that one of my daughters came across and got it for me. So as you can see, it's the old Tamiya T34-76 1942 production. So it's one of the first ones that rolled off the old platform in Mother Russia. And a nice box artwork with a single cupola at the top. Well, only a cupola, it's just a hatch in it. Yeah, nice artwork. Tamiya artwork is normal. I picked this up for 21 quid, so I think I got a bargain, a real bargain. That was including postage. Well, I didn't pick it up, my daughter picked it up for that, and she said she had a present for me last Sunday, so that's what it was. Yeah, so it's a nice box artwork, and on the other end we just have the normal things on the edges, and the kit number is item 35049 and then -1200, and it was made, when was this kit actually produced? Let me have a look without going into the box. Does it say? You may see on this one of the sprues or parts. Nothing else. And there we have on that side we have KV1, Panzer Kampfwagen 3, Panther, the old Panther, and the Walker Bulldog, which was the very first armoured vehicle I ever built. So it's only a small box, but it's quite a heavy box. It's quite. I've just had a quick gander. I just had a quick open the box and a look through it, and it looks nice. Few variations you can do on it as well. So I'll just repeat that number again for you if anybody wants to try and get one. It's quite rare apparently. It's 35049-1200. So without further ado, let's see what we've got in the box. If I can get the box lid open. There we go. So the first thing we come across is the typical Tamiya. A lot of history about the tank. Obviously it's what they built you up from the BT, was it BT5, BT7, and all got Christie suspension. Bit of history there, and it's the same picture again that was on the box front. And let's go to number one. Here we are. We have the sprue parts, and it's telling you a few shadow parts are not necessary parts, so you're not going to use some of the parts, but I'm sure they'll come into useful somewhere along the line. So then we'll start off with number one, which is building of the wheels. There's a few variations of the wheels, because there's, I think it's 2 or 3 variations you can build. Some with metal road wheels, some with rubber road wheels, some with both. So keep an eye out, because it says there's 3 variants you can build. So I think it says build up to stage 7 of the normal build, and then the variations take over. So from, I think you said step 7. So it's fairly straightforward, you know, wheels, hatch covers, front the driver's hatch, vision ports for the machine gun, and then we start the hull again. So there's nothing, you know, back plate, exhausts, and then starting with the gun, which has got a bit of a breach in it. So it's quite a large commander's hatch, so I suppose if you want it open you have to have sort of some detail in there. And along the sides, I like this, it gives you a bit of information about, you know, what you're building along the sides and what you should be doing. 2 halves for the turret, which, you know, isn't really a problem. You can soon lose that. Lose the seams in that with a bit of Mr. Surfacer, or, you know, if it fits nicely, just a bit of filler. And we're on to number 7. See, there's only, this is start at step 7, and this is where the variations take over. There's the basic style, and then you've got on the other page, obviously, you've got 2 figures. You've got the commander and the driver. Bit of information on the tracks of the old rubber tracks that you have to be heated up. So there's nothing much to the build. You know, we've got up to that stage, and then, so that's the complete basic build there, is what it's basically saying. And then you've got the variations on the next page. Nice big pictures, just as, well, not the word in colour in them days, but at least it's got the information. You've got, you know, the normal cylindrical oil cans, and on the bottom we have the angular fuel cans, and then the winter whitewash on some of them, and then the other one. Bit of information again. It's saying this manufactured in 1942. It says T34-76 manufactured from the second half of 1942. Used cast steel tired wheels in place of some of the rubber tired wheels because of the Russian war shortage of rubber. So there's extra handrails on the. See, these were the first ones that came out of the factory, and then because they were on the defensive, apparently, if I read this right, and then they started putting the handles on for crew to grab hold of, so that went on the offensive. So all the tank riders would grab hold of that, and they were the first things into action. The old logs on last one as well. So I'll just pause 2 seconds and I'll answer that phone. Sorry about that. Right, back again. Yeah, we're just saying about the variations of the tanks. As you can see, the other one's just completely rubber wheels, and then the second one mixture is sort of all steel, and then we've got the third one again with the mixture of the wheels, which I'll probably do that version, I would think. So I'm even tempted to use this one on my diorama instead of the T34 with tank riders, because I want to do the winter one, but the soldiers on that one were in just normal, you know, dress. They weren't in winter dress, so I probably will use this one. And I think I've got a few figures, Russian figures, that I can use for winter ones. Yeah, so that's quite nice. And then we've got the painting details and decal details. So you've got the, you know, the basic green one, then you've got the winter one, which I'm going to do. Various markings for different tank brigades. Let me see if we can read them. Doesn't give you anything, just gives you what the meanings of the words are. For Stalin and for the fatherland, which is all obviously in Russian, and then this one says for Soviet Estonia, and then it doesn't say what the bottom one is. They're all variations anyhow with the Russian writing, which I'm going to use. Obviously I'll lose a bit with the winter whitewash, but to be perfectly honest, it is a nice looking kit, you know, it really is. And there again you got some more information on the tanks themselves and actually how the Guards Army was set up and things like that. So it was interesting. You got yeah. I like this. It's showing you the kit finish of the variations. That's quite nice. Wish, you know, they don't really do that much now. And there again with this as well. Sounds like where the torque cables go and things like that, if you want to fit them. Right, so that's the instructions out of the way. Let's have a look at the main thing, the plastic. Let's see what we've got. We'll start off with things come out of the box. So it's got very dark green plastic, and it's quite substantial, the plastic actually. It's very thick, very, you know, very chunky. And as you can see, the details ain't bad for an old kit. I'm going to have a look at the underneath the chassis in a minute just to see if there's any dates. Nice weld seam around the machine gun, maybe slightly on the large side, but at least it's there. Obviously, the driver's hatch. Not much detailing like casting and things like that, so I'll probably have to look at that and see where we go with that. The detail is basic. Again, you've got you know, you got little light wires for the lights coming down, which is quite nice. Again, and then the rear, which is all on there anyhow, so I'll probably shave that handle off there and use the handles again, which I've got, just to add a bit of extra detail. I've got the filler caps there. The detail isn't bad at all, not bad at all. Plenty of holes in it for different things, but I'll look into it and see if it is what the texture wise. It would be a shame to do it wrong. The detail's quite nice, and I don't know if there's any. There's not. What we got here? Made in Japan, 1967. It says there. I'm sure it says 67. Anybody else can read it? The very bottom, is that 67 or? To me, it looks like a 6. 67, I presume. So 1967. So it's nearly 50 years old. This kit. 50 years old, easy. Can't believe that. I must be reading that wrong. Let me have a look at the low hull, see if I can get a better thing on the low hull. You see it's the old battery thing, so it is an old kit. Yeah, 1967. Oh, sorry, 87. No, 67. Oh, I don't bloody know, it's an old kit. Maybe you can work that out yourself. I can't. What do you think? Is that a 6 and a 7? Well, say a 67, so it's an old kit. So you can see we've got the sponsons are, sorry, the suspension arms are already on. So you've got no chance of doing it. The suspension working, so that's bollocksed up my idea. So I'll have to go back to the one because I can't make the suspension work on this one. So I'll have to go back to my original idea. But you know, the detail is quite nice on there. Nothing much on here, but there again, there never is. So I say it's quite a substantial bit of plastic again, really chunky. And obviously it's the battery operated, so we're filling all these in. These will be all filled in and sanded. Yes, so that's quite nice. What we got here, the Decals, the fairly old Decals, quite a lot of, you know, they're not too bad. They're not too bad. It doesn't say when they were produced. If it does, I can't bloody read it. Decals are very old Decals, but the white ones, I'm probably using the black ones. Obviously, if I'm going to do the winter version eventually, the numbers and things like that. So there's, as you can see, the white on white, can't really tell what they are. It's mainly all the sayings that's going to be on the sides of the tank and things like that. But yeah, we'll give them a go. We'll give them a go when we get round to it. And then we have the old famous rubber tracks. I don't know what this stuff is round them. It's coming off, whatever it is. Don't know what that was, or is. Get rid of that in my bin. Right, so the normal fare for the T34. They're not bad actually, considering the edge of the kit. Nice big chunky guide horns in the middle. A bit light on detail in the centre, quite shallow, but it should be alright. It should be okay. I think I might have a look. I think I've got some other T34 tracks. Some individual link ones I think I have. I'm not 100% sure. But I'll probably build this one straight out of the box, I reckon. What do you think? Yeah, I'll build this one straight out of the box without any aftermarket. So that's the tracks. They're okay. The usual Tamiya standard. They're not. I know they're quite shallow anyhow. There's not much detail on the T34 tracks, but they're okay. They'll be okay to use. So we've got the first sprue bag. The ready Tamiya staples. Just be careful. Don't come out and damage your eyes or anybody else. The metal again is quite the plastic again is quite thick and chunky. We're starting off with the turret, which has got nice cast texture on there actually. It really has. That's quite nice, so hopefully it will stay there with when the paint's on it and things. Yeah, that's quite nice. We've got the single hatch at the top, the big hatch, and how big that hatch is. You obviously something to hide behind as well when somebody's shooting at you. You can duck behind that big plate that comes out the top, the door, or hatch I should say. Not much detail's okay, fair detail I said, for an old kit. I'm trying to work out, see if I can see on this thing, because the numbers are that small, I can't work it out. I'll have another look in a minute. The figure is, you know, not to me his strongest point, but they're not too bad. Separate arms. Presume that's the gun barrel, which isn't slide moulded, but you know, it's all in one piece. That was quite good. Don't have to worry about that. We have a little seam out there on each side. That shouldn't take too long. And with the exhaust, I think that's the exhaust, part for the exhausts for the top hull. A few hatches again, and the gun for the going around the gun, which got nice raised bolt heads, and a bit of texture again on there, which is really nice. I'm surprised with the age of the kit they've got that much detail on them. So that's that one sprue, and then we're starting off with the set of wheels. There's two sets of wheels on here that we want to use and not want to use. But the detail again is fairly nice. Consider the age of the kit. And this says 1974, this sprue, so I would think 74. So the hull was certainly wasn't 74, but this sprue is 74. So we'll check on the other sprues as we're going along. This sounds about 74, sounds about right. But the detail again is not bad for the rubber wheels there. Quite nice and chunky with the road markings on, which is tyre marks, which is quite nice. And then for the I presume these are the idle and return rollers on each end of these. And the detail is not bad at all. I have to say, quite impressed with a little bit of detail on these. Got a nice bolt heads, risen bolt heads on the actual rubber underneath the main wheel. Sorry, the main wheel, the actual centre of the wheel. The detail ain't bad at all. I think there's only a few of these wheels you'll be taken off this sprue, because I think there's another set of wheels in the next sprue as well. So let's have a look at the next bag. There's only 2 bags, is there? No, it's 3 bags. So again, watch, be careful of the staples. Put that down there. And then we have, these are all the caps for the centre of the wheels. Again, they're like a softer rubber, not rubber, but they're not as firm, not as hard as that. Bits and pieces on there again. The detail again is not bad at all. Let's just bring this light back a little bit. Maybe I'll be able to pick it up a bit better. There we go. They're not bad really. The centre of the wheels. It's quite a weird plastic there. We'll soon see. And then we have the hatches and fuel drums. Nice texture on the fuel drums as well, for them being bent and bashed, which is quite nice. I like that. And we have the rear cover. There's a slight texture on there, not a lot, but there's a little bit. And then we have the rear engine cover, all in one, which isn't too bad. I say I'm going to probably build this out of the box. I'll make do with that. And then obviously we've got a few of the tow hooks, lifting eyes and things like that. And then we have the exhaust covers, which are not bad at all. They're at the bottom. Nice bolts on them as well. Slight texture on there, I might just give them a bit more texture. And then we have the ends for the fuel drums. A few spare tracks. Obviously you're not going to see that side, that's just fairly basic them, I must admit. They're not very good at all. So I've got some T34 tracks somewhere that I'll put on. Same as for the gun, for the mantlet. So for the gun to be fixed into to rise and lower. And we have the driver's hatch. Again, if you wanted it open, you'd have to lose all the sinkholes. So I probably will have it open, I think. I don't know, we'll soon see. But you could do a bit more cast texture on the driver's hatch. There's a little bit there, but I think you'd lose that almost with the primer coat. And then with the is that two or transmission covers? I think for the final drives, cover them up on the front. There are two versions or one, I can't remember what it said in there. And then we have the louvers for the sides of the upper hull as well. They're quite nicely detailed. A few storage boxes. Yeah, the detail is quite nice. So just not too sure about. So these tracks are pretty basic. They are. There's things for obviously to fasten to the tank, but there's no real detail. And there's sinkholes as well on that side. So I think we'll abandon them. I don't think we'll be using them. But the rest of the stuff is quite nice. Right, so that's another sprue out the way, and then we have the final sprue. Oh no, we haven't. We've got important information concerning this kit. Blah blah blah. And this is. I think they've got a bit of metal in here. I think that's for the rear, for the sprocket. Because obviously, we've been an RC or battery operated one. They had to have quite a strong axle for that. So that's what that must be, I reckon. And there's a nut and bolt there, I think, for the gun. So, and then we have the last sprue. I think this is containing some of the wheels which you could be using, the all metal ones. Just be careful these sprues don't jump out and eat you. And then, now then. Oh. These are nicely detailed again. They're not bad at all considering the age of the kit again. We have a couple of tarps which are not actually that bad. A couple of crates, now with a wooden texture on there, that's not bad at all again. And then we have the driver. There we are, where's he gone? He's better, he looks a bit better. There again, if you want the driver, you're going to have to lose all them sinkholes on the hatch. There's actually a nice cast texture on the wheels as well. Oh, they are really, really nice. As you can see, the cast texture actually on the wheels. That's part of the gun breech. And then we have the logs. They're not bad at all, I see, but I'll use some out of the guard. There's a bit of flash on there, a bit of a seam. So I'll lose them. You lose the texture on them. See where the seam right along is. But they're not bad. They're not bad. This is what I'm interested in. This part here. This has got a lovely texture on the front. And I thought this is extra armour on the main. Let's have a look. Look at this hatch. The cover for the. Where are we at? Come on. Where the hell have we got that? There we are. The first part we looked at, wasn't it? Right. Yeah, so that's going to be. Yeah, so that's obviously extra cover. It's got a nice cast texture on it, so that's really nice. I do like that. You know, typical rough and ready, as they say, but the texture on that's nice. So we'll be definitely using that part for the build. Definitely to bring a bit of nice cast texture on there, and then we have the rectangular fuel cans, which I'll be using. There again, they've got a slight texture on them as well. And then we have a couple of spades, which are, you know, bog standard. Grab handles go along the side of the tank, part of the gun again. Don't know what they are. Not too sure. Like, oh, that's the top of the fuel drums. Yeah, there's a light little line. There's quite a nice bit of detail on there again. Slight texture on them, not massive amounts, but there's a bit. There's a bit. And then I think we're about there. So there's no saw, which I'm quite surprised. And then we have the cleats. I think they're that for the tracks to go onto. So we'll have a look at that when we get to build this. So the two taps are quite nice. Really are quite nice. So generally speaking, consider the age of the kit. It is a lovely little kit. So this says 74 as well. So all the sprues say 74, but the it definitely says 64 or 60. I'm sure it says on there, but these sprues say 1974. So it's an old kit, and I think it's quite a hard kit to pick up and find. So I don't know how the hell she, you know, managed to get it for that price, but you can't argue with that. 21 quid including delivery. So it's a nice little kit. So I've got a few kits to build first, but I was going to do the that on that diorama, but I can't because I can't make suspension work. So I shall have to revert back to the new ICM one. I can make a suspension work on that, so which we shall be using now. And I think I've got some Russian winter somewhere, some winter soldiers. So it was a nice little kit. So that's the end of the review. I'd say thank you very much to my subscribers, new and old, and for taking your time out of the day to view this small unboxing. So this is Greg signing off, and we'll catch you soon.